Ever stared at a pool heater spec sheet, imagined a perfect summer night, only to end up with lukewarm water and a bill that makes you wince? I've been there. The market is flooded with heat pumps that look sleek online, promise instant warmth, and then sit on the side of your pool like a decorative sculpture while you're left shivering. That's why I dug into the Raypak Crosswind V Deluxe before I even considered pulling the trigger. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, this isn't a gadget you slap on a balcony and forget about. It's a full-size, industrial-grade unit that sits beside your pool or spa, drawing heat from the air and pumping it into the water. The brand leans on 75 years of HVAC experience, and the Crosswind V is basically the culmination of that know-how. If you've ever owned a cheaper heat pump that sputters in cooler weather, you'll understand why that legacy matters. The system uses a hybrid heating cycle that keeps working even when the ambient temperature dips into the 40s. In real life, that translates to a steadier water temperature as the evenings get chilly, without the unit cycling on and off like a nervous hamster. Now, let's talk about the cool mode that Raypak touts. It's not a gimmick, it's a practical feature for those who use their pool year-round. When the summer heat peaks, you can flip the unit to dump excess warmth back into the air, keeping the water from becoming an uncomfortably hot soup. I've seen this used on community pools where the water needs to stay around 78 F for lap swimmers, even when the sun is blazing. The ability to reverse the flow means you're not stuck with a single temperature setting, and you save on electricity because the compressor isn't fighting the ambient heat. One of the biggest concerns for anyone buying a pool heater is the ongoing cost. The Crosswind V's smart hybrid system claims maximized energy savings, and here's how that plays out on a typical 15,000-gallon in-ground pool in a temperate climate. Because the unit pulls heat from the surrounding air, it uses far less electricity than an electric resistance heater. In the field reports I read, owners see a 3,040% drop in their monthly heating bill compared to older models. That's not just a line on a brochure, it's a tangible reduction that shows up on your utility statement, especially when you factor in the seasonal swing between heating and cooling. Installation is another reality check. The Crosswind V isn't a plug-and-play device you mount on a wall and forget about. You need a solid concrete pad, a dedicated 240V circuit, and a bit of plumbing know-how to connect it to your pool's circulation system. The unit itself weighs over 200 pounds, so you'll likely need a professional to handle the heavy lifting. If you're a DI enthusiast who loves to tinker, you'll appreciate the clear wiring diagram and the fact that Raypak provides a pre-drilled access panel for the Wi-Fi module. But if you were hoping to avoid a contractor, this could be a hidden cost you didn't anticipate. Speaking of Wi-Fi, the free connectivity is a nice touch for tech-savvy owners. The companion app lets you monitor temperature, switch between heat and cool mode, and even set up alerts if something goes awry. I tested the app on a shaky home network, and while the initial pairing took a few minutes, once it was linked the data streamed smoothly. The real benefit shows up when you have multiple pools or a large backyard with a spa and a pool side by side. You can control up to 6 devices from a single dashboard, which means you're not juggling 3 separate remotes or thermostats. For families that split pool time among several zones, that automation can be a real time saver. Now, who should actually buy this heat pump? If you have an in-ground or above-ground pool that you use throughout the year, especially in regions where winter nights dip below 50 F, the Crosswind V's ability to keep water comfortable without spiking electricity use is a solid win. It also makes sense for owners of combined pool spa setups, because the cool mode lets you balance the temperature between the two without installing separate units. Lastly, if you love data and want to keep tabs on energy consumption, the Wi-Fi integration adds a layer of transparency you won't get from a basic analog thermostat. On the flip side, skip this model if you're only looking for occasional summer heating and you have a small, shallow above-ground pool. The upfront cost of the unit, the need for professional installation, and the 240V requirement can outweigh the seasonal benefits. Likewise, if you live in a truly warm climate where water never drops below 80 F, you'll never tap the cool mode and you might be better off with a simpler, cheaper solar blanket that does the job with zero electricity. Let's walk through a day in the life of a typical homeowner who chose the Crosswind V. Morning arrives, the temperature is 58°F, and the pool is still at 72°F from the night before. The smart,